Good morning. Great gardening, you all. I have a message. I was supposed to put this message out on yesterday. So much is going on, and it could not get out as quick as possible. So I said this is something that is forwarding. It's very needed in our lives. And I took some notes down on yesterday. You know that we had the 4th of July. And when you rounded up the amount of what it is that the numbers bring in message, it was a number 9. And we all know what that means. And for those who do not, with 9, we're going into that ninth ether. We're thinking about those things that are in our own specific godshipness, right? Because the 9 come right before the 10, which brings us back to new beginnings. And some of these things have to have an ending, and we know that the sum of all of the numeric digits equals 9, and that's in totality, right? Today is the day and 9 in totality that was on yesterday with the spirit message. Time to grow up and be a man or woman. Stand in your independence, standing, right? Totally. Because I'm going to tell you all, the message came because of my big toe. And what was the feeling inside of it. And I said, this has to mean something because of the thoughts that I was having and the immediate reaction. It felt like someone was pulling on my big toe. And then when we deal with reflexology, we know that the big toe could be a sign of or a spot to arousal, and also we're relating to the things of the heart. That's why, right? So I had to go a little bit deeper into that and find out more. But before I get into that message of totality, with 9 being on yesterday, is standing, right? We have to stand on our toes. If we have feet, with our toes 10 down. Stand in your independence. When you left home on your own, you set yourself up to be responsible for your own security, right? Because this message is for us who are parents of adult children and those of us who are children who have now become parents. Mama may have, Papa may have, but God, the Most High, the universe, blesses the child that has his or her own. And the question that came through when all of these messages were randomly coming was somebody want to know, when you fail, will they help pick you up? That is a lot of what it is that we're dealing with within the family sector. We remember that there's only one family, multiple units, right? Everybody has a family, whether it's a family that they selected or one that selected them or one that they were born into that they may be severing or reconnecting ties with, right? So let's get into the totality, right? For those who do not know what this information is, that wants to know, my big toe, and on my right foot, the right foot, standing on the right foot, taking the right steps towards what it is to be standing in your independence, right? So we're going to go with my big toe. My big toe on my right foot and on my left foot is the representation of ether, the spirit and unity, The fifth element, it deals with destiny, right? We're not going to explain more in depth on that until after we go through giving you all the information that is needed to understand what it is when we're saying we're standing 10 toes down. The second toe is of air. It represents our communication. The middle toe is for fire. That do it or don't do it aspect of life. The fourth toe, water. And that is where we'll get that monitoring of our relationships and the things that we feel within that. And then that fifth toe, that pinky toe, all of those little piggies went to the market, right? That fifth toe is the earth. And we know that the earth is everything that gives us that right to go to the market, because everything comes from the earth that we are purchasing, right? Your feet know everywhere you have been, and they will take you where you're going. They are responsive to what it is your mind has set forward for you to take those steps. But in order for you to take those steps, you have to have a clear idea of where your feet need to bring you, especially to not be defeated, right? Because we know we're dealing in the times where love is less, and those who are in the perspective of projecting things that are hateful will want us to be defeated. But we know those steps that we take have to be prepared in our minds. Let's get it. The left foot represents our internal spirit. The right foot symbolizes of past symbols of the past and how you relate to others. And that's exactly what we were having going on yesterday, right? And then those who deal with reflexology can also back me up on some of these things. We have pulses and impulses in them, but this is the spiritual connection to what it is that you're feeling that's going on within your body. And then we are aware of those signals that we telepathically get from others who we are connected to through the ethers. It's because it was my big toe, and as well as my pinky toe on my right foot, which is the symbols of the past and how I relate to others. So every bit of what it was that I was feeling was messages that was telepathically coming, or maybe from someone pulling. Because remember, I said I felt like someone was pulling on my big toe, and that was on my right foot. So here we go into what it is that was on the flip side, standing in your independence. You decided, someone in the collective, maybe not to be specific with separating yourself from your mother and your father and standing in your independence, but you decided to stand in your independence away from that which you can relate to. Maybe it's in a relationship. However, for me, it was through the ethers. And every bit of what it was that was spoken is that someone wants to communicate to me, but they're not grounded enough in what it is that they want to say, because they have possibly lost connection with the earth, Mother Earth, right? And maybe that's their Mother Earth. And what I'm getting right now on the follow up is their Mother Earth. Because you have been planted inside of your mother's womb before you can plant inside of another's womb, which is very much lush and fertile, right? Like the earth. In order for those seeds to grow, that's where it's at. And this is something else that's coming through with the words that is saying that I have said that is led by the Spirit. There is someone out there that's in a relationship. It's a couple. They are desiring to bring forth fruit. But you have to know that the fruit that you want to produce, whether it be an idea or even a child, it has to be planted in fertile soil, good potting soil, right? That's what it is. What that pinky toe will relate to you in an earthly manner. So keep on doing what it is necessary for you in my collective that is feeling that tug on that pinky toe in relation to what it is that you're trying to grow, right? So let's get back to it. Stand in your independence. You left for whatever reasons that you decided that was best for you. The communication that you want to deliver specifically for me, you have to take the time within yourself to know that it won't be able to just be a telepathic communication when it comes to me. You will have to reach out physically in all aspects of what it is that you want to convey. Because we know when we're dealing with things of the ether, just like this message that is being presented to you all is through the ether, through the telephone. But we don't want to tell a lie about what it is that we're trying to communicate to one another. Yes, I am receptive to these things that can be brought. And excuse me for if you hear any other sounds other than my voice right now. This is the time where I will be cleansing myself and purging of all things that I have consumed before the break of the fast. And don't worry about that. So, back to the message. Being responsible for your actions that you have taken to stand in your independence away from what it is that we had together. Now, maybe we have not spoken where we can hear each other's physical vibration through the ether in a significantly long time. And that's where I'm feeling a pull at. But it's okay. Whenever you get the security within your own self, because I'm looking at what has been wrote down. Whenever you feel secure about doing it, just know that Raven will not turn you away to hear what it is that you have to say, because that is the oath that I have taken with the Most High, is to hear the voice of those who have not been heard and to speak for those who have not the voice to speak but have been heard by me, right? And that's through the animals, the babies, the elders, and what it is that is being spoken in nature. All right, that's just a little snippet of me. Now, being responsible for that action that you took to set yourself apart from what it is that we had in connection is totally fine, because we know that sometimes people can keep pressing and pressing and pressing issues, and it will turn into something that we cannot stand or stand in. It's shoes. So we want to put on the right shoes when we're taking those steps, when we're dealing with communication towards one another. And we need to know when it's okay to pull back from any means of communication to gather ourselves and be secure in what it is that we have thought of or we're thinking about going forward. So that's the end for me. For you, who it is that's time to grow up and be a man or a woman, because your mother may have and your papa may have, but God, the universe, the Most High, blesses the child that has his or her own. This is for someone's adult child that has now become a parent. It is time for you to realize what it is that the rest of us responsible adults have to do when it comes to making decisions. That's why in this thing called life, in the game of life that has ever been set up in a business facto, you are the responsible economical decision maker for your own household. Once you become a parent, even if you're still living with your parents, you are your own household. You're a separate entity from within that household. They're only allowing you to gather yourself so that you can stand on those 10 toes. Those parents who are allowing you to do that, you are still their child. So you have to humble yourself in order to continue on being able to be under the umbrella of their security while you're independently taking care of what it is that you need to. No harm, no foul. It's time to grow up. Be a man or a woman about your own. We have collectively contributed to our societies by paying our taxes and giving a portion of what it is that we have earned back so that we can collect it. And anyone who thinks that they're not getting any kind of services or aids through the government, shame on you if you're not independently banked. Let me say that because there is no one independent of any systems that are being ran because we are all using them to this day. Whether it's the phone, it's the internet, it's gas stations, anywhere that you pay taxes, you're contributing. Anytime you draw down taxes, you're getting. So, for all of you who are pointing fingers at one another, shame on you. Because no one is isolated from these things unless they are not living in societies but are in rural areas that they consider to be tribal lands where there are tribal councils and no one is paying anything but their time to gain what it is from the earth. All right, and the seeds that they have planted. So, back to not feeling insecure about what it is that you're doing in this living. You're living with your parents and you're now a parent. You have to humble yourself to what it is that they can provide for you until you're able to do so for yourself. You need to seek the resources that is available for you, because if you do not, you are doing a disservice to yourself and to the rest of everyone within the societies that you partake in, because those things will become corrupted in the hands of the greedy, will be paid plenty. So yes, you must seek the resources Someone don't want me to say that is there and available, because we have seen too many times where these systematic things that we pay into our taxes have been used fraudulently just to grease the pockets of those who are above those programs. They will not do that anymore. It's what the Most High said. Those times have come to an end. So we're going to go back to my big toe, and we're going to get on a good foot, which was what we need to do in the right step. And we're dealing with the arch, the soul. We're going to go into that, which is standing in our independence with those 10 toes down. But it was my big toe on my right foot, the symbols of the past and how you relate to each other. Now, those places, this is for the collective. Pay attention to what it is that your feet are telling you. Do not be defeated. The big toe, the spirit and unity. The fifth element, dealing with destiny. Someone that you're destined to be with is what is being told to me. And this could be specifically for myself, because I am the one who have felt this. And it could be for someone else who have been feeling these things but did not know how it related to them. This is the breakdown. Spirit and unity. You will be unified with that who is your spirit person. It is your destiny. And then this is every bit of grounding of the earth. Because I said that little pinky toe with that great vibration that I had been feeling. And even my daughter Mika can tell you, I was like, Mika, oh, I need help. You got to do something. She said, Mama, what you want me to do? I said, I don't know what you can do, but that pinky toe, it is vibrating. And it was vibrating at a rate so high in frequency that it felt like it was going numb, but it was fiery numb, right? And then we can deal with that with saying what is going on upon the earth. It is getting hot, a high vibration. This is the summer. Someone don't understand these things, but they need to, because this is what the revelation has been given to me to convey to you all, right? There's a high vibration upon the earth. It's getting fiery. Is because of all of the emotions that we have been projecting. And the earth is in response to what it is that we're putting out. People make the world go round. And those energies, right? It's time to get right, collective. We're living in loveless, lawless times. Families are being torn from the inside out because those who do not have great bonds with theirs are telling you to sever the ties and sever the cords, which we know are hard to do. But then when you think about that, if you're severing ties and cords with people instead of relinquishing those things that keep you in balance, you'll be without. And that's how we see so many people homeless now. Maybe some of them like living like that in their farm families. But we think about the places that they're setting themselves up to be, under bridges, where there's a high consumption of exhaust. How long will their lifespan be when they're sucking in those carbons, right? Dioxide. And then we hear the main word that can happen when we deal with the monoxide, carbon monoxide from the exhaust, right? Because there are no trees up under those bridges to get that carbon dioxide that we're releasing from out of our bodies, with the carbon monoxide from those cars that are passing constantly up under those bridges and those drafts of winds that propel them further up under there. That's why we can see some of those people who are Caucasian and there might be of Aryan race become so dark within their skin because they're being smoked literally. So those are the people who we want to be able to stand in our independence for. And I'm saying that because of the ties that families sever from one another. Some of them are artificially severing their ties. And I'm saying artificially severing those ties is because they really want to be with those families, but they separate themselves because they don't know how to humble. So they become victim of their circumstances. And that's their choice. Now, when we're dealing with things where people don't have a choice, it's because they're enabled and they're dependent on those who bring them forth into this life to do the things for them that they cannot do with for themselves, and those are babies. When you are covered by your parents, even as an adult child, you're still your parents' baby, because no matter how well in age you grow, they're still the same age older than you all the time. Every year you grow for when they had you. Someone don't want to hear that, because they want to be every bit of their own woman or their own man, but they are not humbling themselves to say, I know I do not have my own other than me. And I don't want to be out of the umbrella of my parents, right? And then this is a message too. Some of you parents are throwing your children to the wayside for whatever reasons that you are. Maybe one day those things will get talked about to where you can handle each other in a better manner. But in all things of love, for whatever it is that I'm feeling, even with conveying this message to you right now, I'm starting to feel the pull on my right, Victor. So I know that communication in the spirit and unity for my destiny is on its way, collective. And maybe for you who have been feeling the same, know your feet so that you won't be defeated. Take the proper methods that you need, necessary steps to honor yourself so that you can stand 10 toes down. And then a flash through the ether in my mind was, make sure that you do what you need to do to pamper yourself. It is okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you go and get a massage for your feet. There are people who are professionals when it comes to dealing with the feet, right? We're going to say that we know that they love to do what it is, and that's what we want to do. We want to get those people who are in the passion for what it is that they provide with goods and services. We don't want to deal with those who are doing the things that they're doing just to get the money, because we know they will not perform a good job. Their duty is to money and not to humanity. So be careful with that, was what the message was told to me, because too many people have suffered injuries with getting improper pedicures, right? And that is one of the ways that you can obtain an infection that will go all the way to your heart through your feet, as well as parasitical infections, bacteria infections. This is what is coming to me. Someone in the collective, your toes are suffering. Your feet, your toenails have become dark brown, and you have a very thick crust up under your toes, right? You don't know that this is part of your um, healthcare problems that you have been having, and you're possibly on your way to getting gangrene. You need to go and get that checked out. And so that those of you who are not there yet, this is what the message is coming. This is not to be messy. This is all about health and healing, right? You are a diabetic, your feet are cracking around the bottoms of your soles. You need to specifically seek out the right care so that your foot will not be amputated. You're in the stage 3 of your diabetic living. And in order for you to not have to worry about those things that are happening with your feet, so that you won't be defeated, you need to take the proper precautions to protect yourself. Do not wear shoes that are very tight. Make sure that your nails are cut right and you have no extra skin around your toes that infection or toe fungus would love to eat on. If you have the ability to use a foot soaker, you might want to try a combination. Don't take this as a joke. You can use specific herbs as um, rosemary, right? You're going to take that rosemary and you're going to put it in that foot soak. You're also going to take some Dr. Tishner's. You're going to get a capful of the Dr. Tishner's mouthwash. It is a tincture and it is used for multiple things. It says mouthwash, but in the household that I grew up in and knowing these things for the knowledge and wisdom that has been applied and has been accurately used, you need to put that in some warm water. Don't put the sea salt, but you're going to use the Epsom salt, because what you're going to do is make yourself a foot bath that is like an astringent, right? We know that Epsom salt is for aches and pains, as well as getting rid of parasites from on the inside, because it is also used as a laxative. The instructions are on the back of all these things that I'm telling you. And the instruction for the rosemary is just natural. Go ahead on and put as much of it in there as you want so that your feet can retreat, right? Because we don't want to fall into defeat. This is what the message was given, because it's the independence in standing in that independence with self-care, self-love, and the mastery of thyself. You will be able to give these things which I am speaking of to yourself, to be able to give it to someone else, because what you do for one, you should be able to do for another, right? So let's go on in continuance with what it is. For any one of you out there who have been feeling things going on with your second toe, is because of the communication. Maybe you have a lack of communication, and now is the time for you to open up that voice or the lines of communication. You know, you don't have to actually speak in order to speak to someone. Just like I was telling you with the feel of the pull on my big toe. Someone is in my energy playing, not, I'm not going to say playing in it, but they're pulling on that energy for me in that element with my destiny. But for you collective out there, and we're going on from the big toe to the next toe, the communication. You don't have to verbally speak in order to speak, but you know when you write down things, it's not coming out of thin air. It's coming from somewhere. That second toe dealing with air, communication. You can write these things down. I'm sending you a 4-page letter, and I enclose it with a kiss. So when I write you, you better get it on time. Okay, someone needs to send that letter. And then how well does that fit with the spirit? I'm getting chills for Aliyah. When we deal with that, when we thinking about the air, the breath of life. Thank you, sister. Rise in honor for what it is that your message has brought to us. And we're going to move on to that middle toe of fire, right? How well my flame does not go out. Will you do it or will you not? And then we can think about the metatarsals, the metacarpals, the fingers to toes. And you know, some of us, if we lose a thumb, it can be replaced with the big toe. Or maybe if you lose a big toe, will it be replaced with the middle toe? I mean the thumb? Okay. So however, when you think about that on your hand, that middle toe, what we call it, the bird, the middle finger will be the bird. When you giving shooting somebody the bird, remember that? It can make you feel fiery, right? Because when they do that, it's like they're saying F you. The do it or the don't do it on the foot, the middle toe, that fire. But my fire is not inflamed. My fire burns balance. I don't feel any imbalances on my middle toe, on any foot. The only thing that will get it fired up is if I stomp it, right? But that's all within me. And it will make me feel fire. And I'll be like, you know, I'm not going to say the language that I would say when I stomp that middle toe, right? It feel like somebody's trying to put your fire out and then it gets you fired up. So we're going to deal with that. To do it or not to do it. Just do it. And maybe someone is out there feeling things going on with their middle toe because they're in a state of confusion about something that they want to do or not to do. Or maybe they are not doing what it is that they want to do. Now it's time to go forward for that. Let's go forward for that. Forward. See how things are going? There's only synchronicities. The fourth is the water. It monitors your relationships, right? And maybe you are feeling something there. But we gonna say what it is. We want to continue on with standing and retreating our feet the way that we should have been treating them from the beginning so that we will not be defeated. This is every bit of your self-care. It's time to let go. Someone may have not been letting go of their toenails. What are you saving them for? It's time to let go of that which no longer serves you. Water, a cleansing. We know that water is what helps things to grow when we're dealing with that fourth toe. So, it's specifically in this message is giving me that you need to water your relationship or the relationships that you have within the unit, because we're thinking about on that flat page what it's saying totally. Do you get it? Time to grow up, be a man and a woman. Totally. About your self-care, about what it is that you're doing for yourself. Because your mama had, your papa had, but the Most High God, the universe is going to bless you for having your own, taking your own, standing in your independence, right? Let's go forward with watering those relationships so that they can grow, because we know that they have to have that in order to proceed. Nothing in this life cannot sustain without having the proper elements, and especially if that's what they desire. As we know that even a breatharian at some point is going to get in the water. They have to cleanse themselves. They're not taking a bath, so their body is going to consume water regardless of whether they're ingesting it. You're going to ingest it through the skin. Let's be real about a lot of these things that we are observing in life or we're conveying, because who you're not going to fool is me. Your feet know everywhere you have been, but before we get to that part, we have to go with the fifth toe, that pinky toe, that baby toe. Oh no, how well do we protect it? That's why it's tucked, because it is more vulnerable than anything, like the earth, with all of the things that we have done to it. We feel that hurt when you stomp that pinky toe. You might as well say that you felt like you died and came back to life within the same stand, which stands for trust, the earth. The fifth toe stands for trust. Who does not want their trust to be broken? And I say that is everyone. But we know that we cannot trust everyone. And for those who are perceptive to what it is that the messages have been conveyed to us, it said, put your trust in no man. But we do, because we're trusting man every day to deliver for us. Even though it says, put your trust in man, put not your trust in man, right? We do. Because when we go forward to proceed and get things that have been formed for us from out of the earth, we're trusting that they're using the best quality of ingredients to produce the best fruit that is edible for us to consume. When you go to the barber shop as a man, you're trusting that your barber is going to give you the cut that you desire. When you go to that beauty salon as a woman, you're trusting that that stylist is going to take care of your hair in the manner that you should have it, because what? We're trusting in them. And if they don't have the right credentials, You probably won't put that trust in them, but some people do not have literally credentials that can be looked up to prove that they can be trusted. That's why you have to know when and when not to trust and who it is that you should or should not trust. That comes with being grounded with this fifth toe as the earth, a support for us. Can we trust that the earth will produce and provide for us? And I say it has for millennia. But can the earth trust that we as human beings or any being that you want to call and deem yourself to be, whether you're from the stars, Mars, Venus, or from a candy bar, to do right by which has been given to you? The greatest gift of all, that has provided everything that you fight for in blood shed one another. How ridiculous is that? That's my side note. Just standing in that of what I see. No one wants to play the fool, but so many fools are there because they're trying to fool the rest of everyone else about what it is that they obtain from the earth through bloodshed. And it's still happening every day. Wars and rumors of wars and fights over lands every day. It's getting ridiculous, even more so.